Yay!
Hello, and welcome to Faithful Hedrons. I'm your DM, Chris Nicolay, and I am so excited to have everyone here as we start our new campaign based in my homemade world of Inangrad.
I'm gonna need that spelled out phonetically and in a place where I can like sticky note it.
Seriously, true. I mean, you'll hear me say a lot of things, but yeah, spelling is it's a weird word, but maybe you just might discover what it means. But as always, we'll start off introducing our traditional crew. Cameron,
Hello, hello.
are you sure you're in Texas?
You know, the weather is kind of unclear right now, and it's a little chilly.
A little bit.
A little.
Well, comparatively.
Yeah, comparatively.
I mean, even then, it's still actually pretty cold. And obviously, we have Emma, also cold.
Yes, it's 6 degrees out.
I wish.
Yeah, I know, right? It's been Sub-Zero's is like always fun. And Shanine from way up north.
Way up north.
Still
Way
in
up
an
north.
undisclosed location.
Undisclosed. It's undisclosed because satellites can't pick it up because it's just covered in snow. It's just all white. And also joining us, though, we have the wonderful Deanna
Hello.
from our sister podcast, Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust.
Yep.
And also, for the very first time, joining us, Travis.
How's it going?
So we're gonna cancel the podcast. The only thing we were doing this was so we could finally see Travis's face.
Yeah.
And now
This
that we've
is-
done that, it's over.
It's been an
fun.
elaborate
fun.
ruse, guys.
Thank
We
you
have
for building a
officially
character.
finally met
He's
Travis.
You know what?
He
It
is
could have
real.
been better. I was gonna go just mustache for this one, but my wife protested.
Thank you.
Yes. We have two beardies.
But yeah, I am super excited. I have been working on this for months, obviously starting with the map, what you'll see behind me as my green screen.
This is,
You
for
look like a
for me, it's
weatherman.
over here, but like that's not quite where it is for.
Can you give us the forecast?
Well,
Here?
Over here, we'll.
Yeah. Chris is ready to show us what's going. The storm's front's falling in. Oh,
I've got animations and everything. I could not be a weatherman because I'm like this area. But I am excited to share this with you. But let's go ahead and start us off, and we'll kind of have you guys introduce your characters. And let's go clockwise on the stream, starting with Deanna.
Why am I going first?
Because you're literally clockwise on the stream. You're right here.
Am I? Oh. I'm like looking here and over there, and my face is on two of them. And okay. So my character's name is Alana, and my is it class is the race, or his race is Triton,
Yep.
which is a underwater being of sorts, or I'm amphibious but mostly live underwater.
Pretty much the
and
Aquaman
my
race.
class is a bard, so I'm the entertainer apparently. And I will inspire others to fight better in things like that. As people who know what bards do, that's me.
All about that support
Hence
character.
the like aquatic accessories.
Yeah, and like the camera's not picking it up, but she's even like has like aquatic glitter
I have,
going on.
I have
and
like
stuff
glitter. It's fine. I wanted to feel in character, even though I'm not a good actor.
And next up, Cameron, tell us a little about your character.
Like that. So my character is Shakar. I am a Minotaur barbarian playing Path of the Zealot, and so my goal is to smash things, and then when things don't go well, we just smash them more, and then when things go well, we just continue smashing things. That's
I'm gonna need you to calm down.
yeah, that's basically where we're at. So I anticipate needing inspiration from Deanna quite often.
Alana.
Alana. and going from there. So, yeah. So I'm playing Shakar.
How do you say it?
Shock Car.
Oh, you changed it.
Yes, I did. I didn't like the other one.
And since we are moving in a clockwise fashion, Emma.
Hi, I'm playing Fernan, and I am a dragonborn druid going the route of Circle of the Shepherd, so I get to talk to animals. And yeah, I basically based my character as much on myself as I could because I don't know what I'm doing. So I was like, I'm just gonna do myself and see how it goes. So
Perfect.
yeah,
Makes it easy to act, right?
yeah.
What would I do? Because
What would
that's
I
my
do in this
character's gonna do.
situation? I would go pet the dog. So I'm going to make a character that would go pet the dog.
Or the bull-like humanoid.
Or the bull-like humanoid.
I am a little husky, not chubby, just a little husky.
Chunky.
Is it a good idea? No. Am I going to do it anyway? Yes.
And Janine.
Yes, I am Poppy Galanadel, a wood half-elf ranger. I'm a folk hero of my home village, and I'm just out for adventures and glory.
Writes itself. And Travis.
I am Tilgar Blackpaw, the Tabaxi warlock and part of the Pact of the Great Old One. I am a street urchin.
What's a tabaxi?
It's a giant cat person.
Oh, that's right. You told me
Yeah.
that.
They're tall, lanky.
Ironically, I'm not a cat person.
Well, there's like 2 cat people because now we have the lion people too. The Leonins are officially in D&D. But I am
Got
so
a
excited
fish,
for
we've
this.
got a cat.
I've got a fish, a bull, and a cat.
And a cat.
Yeah,
And a dragon.
the most
Get this
traditional
party an
race
arc.
in our little team here is Shanine's character.
Oh, I do have an animal, though. I forgot. I have a raven,
Ooh.
Oh,
a raven companion
useful.
named Quill.
Well,
But yeah, I'm excited because
and I have a loot.
And I
I have a loot. But for the most part, so as I mentioned, this campaign is taking place in Eonengard. And for the most part, this world has been at peace for the last probably 300 years. Lots of organized and unity, but it is made up of several different countries, mostly distributed by land barriers. But over the last probably about 6 months, there has been an increase of seismic activity. For the most part, and you'll learn a little more about that.
Not suspicious seismic activity at all.
Not
No.
suspicious.
I don't like
It has a
sound of
reason.
that.
But we'll go ahead and start in kind of the same order. We'll go through each character and get you guys started on your adventure. And kind of getting you directed. But so, Alana, so your character, since you have elected, so just some additional things. Regarding our campaign, since this is predominantly homebrew, there may be some things regarding we may not follow the traditional rules of D&D as often. We did a point-buy system because I do have a system in place in terms of how your characters actually grow in their stats. And what else? Stats. So for your standard, instead of a stat, you'll likely pick a feat that makes sense for your character. There may be some things you may have to complete before those feats become fully effective when you elect them. And yeah, I'm excited though. But so starting with Alana, since you have elected, and we are starting at level 3, the College of Glamour. College of Glamour may not be a traditional bard college, since they are typically tied to Fae. Glamour.
I picked that. I got my look.
I like to think of it as the glitter college.
Pretty much. But it outlines it's not like a traditional educational background. And with your background as a Triton, ultimately you were introduced to your class by a Fae advisor, a Nereid named Laumadiah.
Okay.
And if you're not familiar with what a Nereid is essentially they're very similar to Tritons, although they are affiliated with the Fae realm.
Almost like a water nymph kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Often can be
Ish.
show up as transparent. But ultimately, Laumadiah is very highly encouraging you to head east. So, by the way, for the most part, the Tritons, predominantly their kingdoms and capitals, are in the Central Sea area.
Where the storm is rolling.
Where
through.
I'm sitting, yeah, where the storm is currently moving east. And so they are encouraging, and you have been highly encouraged to head east, to kind of seek out your path, and because you have heard stories, potentially, and new areas to be discovered on the eastern continent in the northern realm of an uncharted veiled city.
Ooh.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So ultimately, how you choose to proceed? Do you notify your family, or
They don't need to know where
they
I
don't
am.
even know? And she just takes off.
See ya.
I'm going out. Bye. Okay.
So
I'm
for
gonna
the
get
most part, you are
groceries.
I
informed.
have a feeling this would be a common occurrence for your character.
Yeah.
To just disappear for weeks on
Very
end.
possible.
Yeah, it's like, well, she doesn't come back in like a month or so. Maybe we'll go try and figure out where she. If we don't hear from her in a month.
See ya when I'm level 20.
For
Yeah.
your character,
Bye.
ultimately, this is probably the farthest inland Tritons have traveled. Obviously, them being more amphibious, they tend to keep to their coastal areas, and their predominant partners are the harbor cities, or island countries. Could not be a weatherman, as I
This
mentioned.
is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So you take off. It is over several months. I'll send you some stuff to include in your things, or if there's anything specific you would like to do during your journey, let me know. But you begin to make your way to northeastern realm of the continent, and will then go on to Shokar.
I am Shokar.
Shokar. Yeah.
Shokar.
Cameron. Yep. Shokar. So as we have previously done, so you are from a nomadic tribe,
Got the
predominantly
zoomies.
living on the eastern continent within the mountain ranges. They're nomadic, and they traverse the areas between the greenlands of the northern area and the desert region of the southeastern portion of the continent.
I'm sorry, Chris. Can you show me that on the map?
Yes, maybe. Which way am I turning? This way. A little more this way. This area. This is hard. I thought it was a good idea. Now it's an expectation. I don't like it. But with the coming of the seismic activity and its lasting effects, like seismic activity isn't abnormal. I mean, obviously, earthquakes here and there happen, but they seem to be more and more on a schedule over the last 6 months. And the clan has gathered with some of the other Minotaur clans. And your clan seer, Renthea, has brought to light a previous prediction from her past family members that that the source of the seismic activity is possibly from a undocumented region to the north, and that one would and that ultimately they would need to send someone to investigate. You hearing this, obviously, so you've had problems with past predictions
Yeah, let's just say they have been less than accurate
of late, but having heard this is coming from this is a early prediction from her predecessors. You are a lot less skeptical. Yeah, I don't know if is that word. Sounds so
right.
weird sometimes.
English is hard.
English is
It is.
just a made-up language.
Just like everything, all
Just
the
like
other
everything
languages.
Just like all the other languages.
Ultimately, the clans do hold a lottery to see who will ultimately depart from the clan. And you are ultimately selected.
I choose you, Pikachu.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So, on
Or-
Shakar's side, he's definitely more reluctant about this. It's more of like an honor-bound kind of thing. And so we won't go too much into it, but Shakar does have a tenuous or tumultuous relationship with the seer of his clan. And so let's just say there's a little bit of hostility between them.
So begrudgingly, a little bit, but being the good Minotaur warrior that you are, you take your orders and ultimately depart. Is there anything specific you would like to look for or plan on during your journey? It takes probably about 6 weeks journey for you.
So I think as Shakar is traveling, the main thing that he would be looking for is basically he's looking for proof that things aren't bad. So he does not trust this prediction. He does not trust that this is a big deal. As you said, it being an older prediction from a previous seer definitely helps his reluctancy in this. But his mindset going in is everything's okay. So he's going to basically be looking for anything that proves what he believes there.
Okay, so
May I interject?
Yep.
What I'm up to when I'm
Yeah.
walking around is I'm just kind of traveling around, meeting people, learning things. Because growing up, I didn't get out much from the undersea realm, so I'm kind of like everything is new and amazing. So I'm just like go to markets and like learn about above
But who's its
above
and what's
sea
its?
level things.
Hoppers
Who's its
and
and what's
snork
its,
flats.
thingamabobs, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just like, whoo, everything's new and shiny. This is amazing. And I play music along the way for money. So I can buy the shiny things.
buy the shiny things.
Yeah.
I will say occasionally for your character, you're convinced
Yes.
that some things have value when they have less than said value.
Like, this is really cool. and
You
it's,
are
like,
very gullible
ordinary.
when it comes to shiny things or things that you're unfamiliar with and their purposes.
Like an old glass bottle. This is so cool. And it's like, that's trash.
Emma's Fiernan. So, as you've kind of outlined for your character, you have a deep interest in cartography. And this was brought to you by your adoptive parents. And by the way, I have you adopted by turtles, just so you know.
That works too.
'Cause I love
That's
turtles.
It's kind of awesome.
And ultimately, this turtle family that found you and adopted you, were ultimately unable to have children of their own or lay their own eggs, so they took you in, and you learned a lot about cartography. Now, obviously, you took great interest in that, and that kind of starts you off on this adventure. Prior to leaving, you had come across some of the maps and designs from your adopted father, and you notice a incomplete portion. And so you kind of make your way to this incomplete area where you decide to take off.
Show me on the map where that would be.
So, so you're from this peninsula area, this coastal region. Okay.
This is the best.
Great.
The incomplete area of the map is here, in this little mountain range. So you it's incomplete in the sense that it doesn't have the detail and markings. From what you can surmise, like in general, it's drawn in as if viewed from a long distance. Ultimately, your adopted father has done his best, but it seems like he was unable to travel in the area that is missing.
Maybe you're just gonna get going fast enough to get over there.
Turtles aren't slow.
Too
Is that
slow though.
the banner of your people behind you, Emma?
Yes.
The banner.
It's the banner of my people. It's the flag from my home village.
Perfect.
So ultimately, you kind of pick up the task of wanting to complete his work upon their passing. And you may have also heard rumors that of information relating to a missing Dragonborn clan in the area as well.
A dragonborn raised by turtles. It's just a big reptile party.
Yeah,
It's a reptile party.
It makes
Yep.
sense.
some people have a shell, some people don't have a
some
shell.
people just don't get to carry.
We're
them
all
around.
reptiles.
Ultimately, and so you begin your journey and begin making your way to this undocumented part of the maps you have available to you. Poppy. It's like character name. I'm trying to transition from into
Not a lot of things to keep track of.
to referring to you
So
guys by
many
character
things.
names.
It's hard being a god.
It's hard being like the force of physics in this world.
It's tough to
Omnipotent.
be a god.
Poppy, ultimately for your character to start, so you have been adventuring for a little bit, just seeking out any challenge, anything that can make you feel like you deserve this hero title that your village has assigned to you. You're from, by the way, this area on my map. So you do have to make your way across the mountains, or you can cross the peninsula here, depending on how you choose to travel. But ultimately, but you have heard rumors of an area that is not well known, but there have been recent there have been stories of people returning or coming from this area, but they may have been driven mad, so it's hard to get a concise history. But
Wait, sorry. You said they've been driven mad?
maybe
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, I was like, Shakar wouldn't know any of this, but like, Cameron finds that very interesting.
Wait, who went crazy? Sorry, he was showing me something over here. I'm just kidding.
So, I guess, do these rumors interest you enough that you would depart to this area?
Yeah, if people are being driven mad, it sounds like the potential for danger. So
Heroism.
I will go to there.
You're willing to risk your sanity for the sake of being called a hero?
Yes.
Great.
One might say that's insane.
Yeah.
I might.
Okay. So, which brings us to Tilgar. Tilgar, you are located in a city, and a good portion of your memory kind of begins to return to you. There are periods while everyone in the city itself seems very amicable. The city is predominantly dwarves and elves. And it's very druidic on the elven end, and lots of dwarven structures toward the mountain portion. It is built up, so it's a highly forested mountain region. But ultimately, as you continue to serve the great ancient one, whose name has not yet been revealed to you, but you begin to get glimpses of the true nature of the city. You, with your background and everything, you have this. I mean, this is pretty much where you've been, but you are also receiving like pictures of your past outside of the city. And your curious nature leads you to want to leave. But find yourself unable to do so.
Why is that?
Asking a good question there.
Boom. For whatever reason, you end up almost like in a Groundhog Day like situation where you always plan and you go through your day, and as you exit the city and make your way through the outlying forest, you typically black out and wake up the next morning as if with your packed stuff, as if you're just going about your plan to leave again.
Same day or different day?
It plays out like the same day, but it is ultimately, time is progressing normally.
He has narcolepsy.
Forest narcolepsy.
Yeah, and chronic sleepwalking.
Chronic sleepwalking.
Is it offensive to call it a catnap?
Oh.
Ooh.
I think that sounds well known.
Suppose not.
Oh yeah, dude.
You got an emoji for this.
And things in the city, it's weird because you don't always, like, you have a sense of deja vu when you go about the attempt to leave. Occasionally you don't leave and you go about your daily city town business. When you speak to people, they don't seem to know what you're talking about. And typically when you try to think, and more often than not, sometimes, like when you try to think or truly think and dwell on the your memories of outside the city, it acts like a memory that just, like, more like a dream. And the more you try to think about it, the more it fades.
Sucks.
Ultimately, Shakar, with kind of the events, and you see, as you progress and as each of you kind of make your way into the area of this northeastern region that you all
Sorry,
seem
which
to be
region?
nailed it. That one was
love
good.
Thank you.
You're getting better at this, Chris.
Can you go over where everyone is in the present time?
Present time. Well, I mean, so this is all kind of over like travel features. So Cameron has traveled from the mountainous area, kind of clan meeting here.
Okay.
Where's my
A
finger?
clan meeting.
Clan meeting. Oh, okay, maybe
The Minotaur clans. We want to just be clear.
Minotaur
there.
clans.
Not
Clans
that
with a
clan.
C.
Yes.
The C.
From this area, and he's making his way north to here.
Okay.
Vernon is from farther east from this area and is making her way east here to complete a map. And Deanna, you are from the sea area
Oh, that side. Okay.
and you're making way. Well, yeah, I'm assuming you'd head north and then across instead of bordering Landon.
Makes sense.
And making your way over. Poppy is from this area, and I don't know, how do you see your character traveling from here to here?
Where is there likely to be more adventure?
The mines.
The mines.
That's the right question.
Mines.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It
go
depends
over
on
the
what type of
mountains.
adventure. So you can go north and take a ship across where you might meet some harbor people. You can travel directly through the mountain ranges. There's well-marked trails and stuff. And have a few encounters with the primary mining people of the regions. And those are kind of the primary things.
Yeah, I think I'd likely go through the mountains.
Through the mountains.
The Mines of Moria.
The mines.
I'm
of
like,
Moria.
we go
Thank you,
under
Chunk.
the mountains.
Eventually.
Meet
no.
any fire demons on your way?
And
That'd be
So-
that's a good adventure. I mean.
That is a good adventure. You'd get a lot out of it if you didn't die.
so those are kind of the routes y'all are taking.
Poppy wouldn't die. She-
During your travels,
Dilgar?
as you make your way to this region, either just asking about the potential rumors or seeking additional information about where you're heading. So Emma, since you're kind of target, the information you're constantly kind of obtaining is that the reason why that area has not been mapped, is it is near impossible to enter.
How
Surround-
so?
It's surrounded by trees, like a thick forest for the most part. And it seems like the only way to fully enter that forest are periods throughout the year. And only at night. And those who have entered typically don't return.
I was about to ask, does this also seem like the
Curious,
type of thing
sir.
that would
Curious,
prevent a certain warlock from being able to leave?
Yeah.
That is exactly what I was thinking. And also a group of mad people in an area.
Yeah.
Like they only say you can't make it out because no one ever has.
Right.
Until now.
They only say you can't.
As additional information for
Fire
Tilgar, the thing is, as I mentioned, this area is predominantly dwarves and elves. And you are the only tabaxi. The only.
Explains why no one's nice to me.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, occasionally, people are used to you. For the most
There
part,
goes that guy.
they kind of tolerate it, but there is a sense of like, it's like, where did you even come from? Even their memories
don't
kind
even
of
go
prevent
here.
them of like your arrival. They kind of remember like interactions with you, but no one in the city is able to kind of remember where or when you arrived.
I have to make this analogy. The town is like the dad that didn't want the cat that the kids brought home. Where did this cat come from? I'm sorry. Continue.
But so as you guys travel, like ultimately, you've heard the rumors but that ultimately a time for the ability to kind of enter is nearing. It is typically in the it's winter. So times have increased in the winter where people are able to enter. Some people have entered kind of the fringes, but don't dare wander. And so some of those people, like some of the initial areas of the forest are well marked. But there is kind of an ominous and unknown force preventing you from proceeding. So Shakar, you kind of arrive first to the area outlined by the clan of where they believe the prophecy or has outlined you should be, and you kind of you explore a little bit, but there is still something preventing you from fully entering into the area. About like within a few days of you arriving, ultimately, who would be next? Fernan, you kind of arrive and you see a few camps here and there that have been abandoned, but you do notice a large minotaur.
I want to pet
it. Sitting at a camp that you do see a lit fire as you approach the kind of outlined entrance to the forest. People have mentioned.
I was thinking as you were like talking through that, I'm like, Shakar would want to do some sort of check to what this is. Then I looked at my stats and I was like, Shakar has no clue.
I mean, you can
make
a check.
Like, this is way above his pay grade.
Make an Arcana check.
Okay. 0.
Okay.
You rolled a 1.
I rolled a 1 and I have a -1 to Arcana. So
I mean, so so with you, like over the few days that you were kind of alone, you arrive here. What sorts of things are you doing to see if you can proceed?
Okay, so I'm throwing stuff in.
Okay.
I'm then finding other stuff and throwing that in. And then I hope you're ready for it.
Oh no.
I'm then trying to throw myself in and we're just seeing what happens.
Some of the things he threw in.
Do
were, like,
roll me
creatures.
roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh jeez.
Oh no.
I do have to ask, are critical failures, so rollings of a 1, gonna be a thing?
In a sense, yes. I'm not gonna like have you like potentially kill yourself if you fail.
Okay, I rolled a 14.
A 14. So with that, you manage to move. You walk in about 50 feet. Then you kind of gloss over and you find yourself walking out.
Interesting.
And so I would imagine that, like, from Shakar's perspective, he's just doing this over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, in, like, traditional, like, Minotaur barbarian fashion.
Just keep ramming it.
Yeah, like, legitimately. If only I had, like, a character trait called, like, Ram or whatever. But, like, yeah. So, like, this is about, like, the level of what he's at. It's just like, well, I don't get it. We're going to just keep trying until something happens.
So
come down
you continue to do this and you kind of like, just like, I mean, mostly like your skepticism is like, I'm just doing this, and just like the more I do this, part of it too is like the more I do this, eventually when I finally return, I get to rub this in in the seer's face. There was nothing happening, couldn't even do anything. But in the course like of your kind of daily activities, trying to figure out a way to you're confused, but at the same time confusion doesn't affect you. It's not, you don't dwell on the failure. You're just like, keep trying, whatever. But ultimately, eventually, a Dragonborn comes across your camp, and you kind of witness this a few times.
I was gonna say, can I just stand there and watch for a little bit, laughing to myself hysterically?
So as you approach, yes, you see a minotaur kind of enter through this clearing in the trees, and a few seconds later, or like a few minutes later, walk out. And he kind of looks around, and then he turns around and tries again. And he goes back in, and it looks like, to you, ultimately, it looks like he's pacing, just back and forth at this weird threshold. His camp, like 50 feet away, fire lit and everything.
So he doesn't seem threatening. Just very confused.
I mean,
aside
I'll
from
let-
being a
I'll let-
giant,
yeah.
minotaur
I mean,
how
looking
dare
thing.
You've never really interacted, but I mean, you're also a Dragonborn, so
Yeah.
like in general, you're
That's fair.
the intimidation factor.
You're the intimidating one.
I don't know. Cameron, do you see yourself be like, as you're going through this, like, are you in your full gear, ready for?
I mean, as full, yeah.
But
Like,
are
I
you like
mean,
angry at the situation? I guess
I would imagine that there would be an escalating level of rage,
of frustration and rage.
as this continues to happen over and over again.
Like each time you run in a
Yeah.
little bit faster.
Yeah, exactly. And so maybe it starts off just being like, we're gonna just walk in, we're gonna do this, and then eventually it gets to like we're sprinting in and then like sprinting out, that kind of thing.
All right. With this knowledge, I would probably just let him wear himself out and set up my own camp while he
never
wears
wear out.
himself out.
Okay.
You just pass out somewhere.
With your
Yeah,
intense focus,
actually.
though, Camera, I'm gonna roll a perception check for me. Shokar.
Oh, me?
Yep.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's you.
Oh, I actually have 14 again.
Okay. Actually, so like as you can go about your your insane attempts to enter this forest, just not really changing anything about what you're trying to do. You just keep trying. You do see kind of a Dragonborn enter the area and begin setting up their own camp. So I'll let you guys think about how you'll interact with each other. But a couple days later, Alana, you finally begin finding your way here to the area outlined by Lamadaya. And ultimately you see a couple camps. And a minotaur walking in and out of this entrance of the forest. I'm not sure. So I guess with that, as you're approaching, how do you think you guys have interacted over the last couple days? Or I guess Shokar
talking to
and
them
Shokar
too?
and
Okay.
Fiernan.
I probably would have just kept his fire going, and like at one point when he, I don't know,
Yeah.
kept his
I-
fire going.
I would guess at some point in time we would have talked,
Yeah.
like over several days, especially both being like burlier parts of the and like just based on like classes, I would imagine that like Shakar would have learned some things from Fiernan.
What?
that would- and would have at least stopped rushing, like spending as much time trying to go in.
You still do, probably.
Yeah, still do, of course. but I
Still
trust-
do,
but,
but-
like,
So you just can't resist. It's like, I know they said that I should
Yeah.
probably stop, but okay. Like, I guess ultimately, do you guys see your guys camping a little closer together now that you've interacted, or
Yes.
kind of communicating? Like, you're each do you guys communicate your purpose for being there, I guess, to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably go, look, there's this empty spot on my map. I'm here to check it out. You're not getting very far, but with your bronze and my brains, we can figure this out.
I guess my other question for Fiernan, I know you like, so from your perception initially, you see this Minotaur. It looks like he's just pacing in and out and getting frustrated about it.
I
Like,
would spend enough time watching to figure out that he legitimately thinks he's trying to go somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, and
And-
if it's been several days, I would imagine
Yeah.
at some point we've like sat around the campfire together, and I've like explained,
Had a snack.
had a snack together.
Had a snack.
Have a snack.
Had some
Okay.
like
At any point,
Exhausting.
do you yourself
Fantasy
try
popcorn.
to?
yes to try and figure out what the heck is going on in
Okay.
this guy's brain. I would enter the forest at some point
Okay.
to see what's going on, and that's probably when I realize that he's not just pacing. I would set up my camp while he paces, and then 24 hours later realize he's still pacing.
Okay.
Try it for myself, and then go, oh, let's start a conversation with this guy.
All right. So Alana, you come across. I mean, occasionally here and there, you'll see the Minotaur as you're approaching get up and attempt to go back into the forest, and ends up walking out. But for the most part, you do see a Dragonborn kind of remaining at the camp, kind of just watching this unravel. For the most part, I also would imagine, Fiernan, you'd probably be attempting to draw what you see, relating to the outlines to see. You've kind of outlined like that for the most part. From where you are, the pieces have been drawn in, but nothing is truly mapped. It's more so just kind of an area on the map that's drawn from this particular perspective, from where the camp is kind of set up. But Alana, how do you approach?
Well, I'm just kind of walking along, doodling on my lute, playing a nice little song, and then I walk up to, is it Fiernan? Is that how you say it? And I say, "Greetings, land person." What's going
Hello.
on?
Land lizard.
And lizard.
Just watching this guy pace back and forth.
What's he doing?
No big
Why
deal.
is he doing that?
He's just trying to walk through, but turns around every time because he blacks out. It's a very strange forest. I tried it once, and you black out and turn around and walk back out again. Still trying to figure it out, though.
That is strange.
It's very
I
strange.
was just told to come over this way by my mentor, so maybe
Oh.
this is what I'm supposed to find as well.
Yeah, very interesting.
Hmm.
I was
Nice to meet you.
raised by turtles, so nice to meet you.
Oh, I love turtles.
Good. Me
Poor
too.
turtles.
Did we just become best friends?
Are we buddies?
I have sea turtle friends. Back
Just
home.
casually throwing this out there.
They're not the same as turtles, but they're
No.
similar. They're the sea kind.
They're cousins. Close
They're
enough.
cousins, yeah.
They're cousins.
The next
Sorry,
day,
option.
the following morning, Poppy is now in the area, having picked up some rumors here and there regarding the strange phenomenon. And as Poppy approaches, obviously, you get a same picture of possibly like kind of the intriguing thing that's happening. You see a Minotaur continue to walk through
Still doing
and walk out.
thing.
Yeah. So I think like my imagine is like this is like something that's like that Shakara is doing for like hours a day. So like not like 24/7, but this is something that like as I said.
It's like you wake up and you're like, I'm gonna try this again.
Yeah. and, like,
Way to get the exercise in.
It's like
you
more
know.
and more ragged every day.
yeah.
Time for
Just
my
make
evening
sure he
stroll.
eats. down.
Yeah.
But
So,
ultimately,
yeah, there's a path in the trees from like his horns. coming
Yeah.
out, and,
You've
like,
just worn out a path.
It's now it's a ditch.
yeah.
yeah. But you come across a camp or what's turning into kind of a larger camp at this point, kind of 4 individual setups. You see this Minotaur, but in the camp you also do notice a Triton and a Dragonborn kind of witnessing, kind of doing their own things. Kind of chuckling at the Minotaur here and there. You're like, still at it? Okay.
Maybe I'm still playing a song, just hanging out.
Writing a song about this insane Minotaur. Paces back and
There
forth.
was a Minotaur running through the forest. First he ran in, then he came back out. Round and round he went. No, just kidding.
For the most part, this is a very interesting group you come across. First of all, it's 3 kind of random races that aren't often seen together in general. And it's a weird coincidence that ultimately this weird group of outsiders has gathered at this entrance point to the forest. But you ultimately have found your way to the area of rumor. How would you like to proceed?
I will walk up to this camp. Hello, friends. Are you also here to explore this strange land?
Look, there's a hole on my map. So yes, I am. Because there's a hole in my map.
There's a hole.
Oh, okay.
There's a hole, man.
It appears there's not much known about this land.
No, not really. Just these little pieces from one vantage point way far away.
I've definitely never seen anything like it.
You hear Shakar mumbling, you go in the trees, you come out the trees.
He's like going in a crazy stupid, like, in the trees, out of the trees.
What's up with this guy?
He's just trying to go into the forest and get out the other side, but he's been doing this for at least 4 days now, so clearly it's not going so well.
Seems to be just
Oh,
going in circles.
Does he just get lost?
No,
You go in the trees, you go out the trees.
you go in the trees, you black out, and when you wake up, you're going out of the trees.
He
It's
seems
real
to not
weird.
understand
Oh, that's very
what's
strange.
happening. Yeah.
Would my preferred terrain of forest give me any advantage in detecting forest weirdness?
Or like detect magic or something.
I don't have that.
Okay.
Yes. Especially because you are half elven.
Okay. I would like to try detecting weirdness.
Detecting weirdness.
Roll for weirdness.
roll weirdness check for me. Oh wait.
What am I rolling?
Roll a nature check.
Nature, okay. It's 6.
Well,
We know nothing.
Is that with advantage? For your
Yeah,
known
that's
terrain?
with my
that's with the
bonus things.
well. Did you roll with advantage? So roll twice and take the higher.
That would be better. 13.
13. You don't get a lot of details in general. You know this is an old grown forest, almost ancient. You get a sense of potential fey magic. Like it feels feyish.
Okay. Can I also send Quill over the trees to see if whatever's stopping goes like into the air?
Sure.
Okay. I send Quill.
he said,
Quill flies just over the trees and kind of ends up diving straight into the canopy
Oh no.
and flies out through through the entrance.
Okay. Okay.
So
And in this case, they try it once, not.
it goes in the tree.
In the trees, out the trees, in the trees, out the trees.
One of these times, I'll keep going. Just keep trying.
Give him a nice little pat on the head and say, "We're not trying that again."
You can sit down.
Alana, as these people kind of gather, roll a history check for me.
This is the number for today.
What was the number?
14.
Oh, 14? Oh, that is the number for the day.
Again. But it's like a number, and they're just equal.
That'll do.
with the thing.
As you're kind of witnessing this, something comes to mind that ultimately, that as throughout your travels, and also just with your connection, to the Fae, or through your Fae advisor, that you understand that the connection between possible Fae magic, is weakest at night.
Do I state this to the group, or do I just...
That's your call.
During my time at Bard College...
Wait, what college was that?
Bard College.
But which Bard college?
Of glamour.
Which one?
Of glamour.
Glamour.
I've heard of kind of magical areas such as these, and that there might be a chance that the effect that is on this forest might be weaker during the nighttime. I think. We could try something then.
Go in the trees, out of the trees.
You rest now. Go get you some hay.
Whoa, that is offensive to my people.
What do you eat?
Hay is for horses.
Humans?
Grass is cheaper.
You can just have the ability to digest it, but it doesn't mean you like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not your favorite.
It's an offensive stereotype.
That's all I have to say. It's like during my classes
So,
at Bard College.
I mean, ultimately, so with that information, like, since it's relayed, as a group, I guess, discuss how you guys kind of wish to kind of try and proceed, or?
We throw things into the forest.
How does that tell us anything?
You've already tried that.
We've tried that.
They
several
stay,
times.
the things you throw in the forest do stay there.
Okay.
I will say that.
Here's
They don't
the
They don't like
they don't
pop
like
back
boomerang.
Right, yeah, it's not like you throw it in and it gets thrown back out. You throw it in,
and it just
you
stays
kind of
there.
see it land, you hear it, and nothing.
Here's a good question. With this mysterious forest, are there any signs of like living creature animals like squirrels?
As far as you can see into the forest, roll a nature check.
1.
Hey.
No, there are no signs of
Great.
only vegetation is what you get.
Trees and bushes.
Trees, bushes. It's a shrubbery.
It's a shrubbery, giant shrubbery. Oh no, the
They got
hiccups
the
are
hiccups are
back.
back. Boo.
So with the knowledge, do you, Shokar, do you attempt at night?
Yeah, I would imagine at some point over these days, Shakar has tried to go in at night.
Okay. At some point, you have tried at night when the entire group is there. And you have blacked out. In the morning, the party notices you have not returned.
It worked. I was right.
Time for me to re-roll a new character and
Do we go in after him later tonight?
Maybe we could see,
Yes.
try and figure out try and see how far he got into the forest.
How?
So
We could go ahead.
So I guess I'm assuming that means you follow the normal day-to-day procedure. You follow in and look for tracks, I guess?
Yes.
Okay. So roll a survival check.
12.
Okay. So in general, you do wander in kind of looking for signs of Shokar's hoofs. And they seem to extend a ways in, but then you get fuzzy and find yourself walking out.
Okay, so we don't learn much.
Unable to fully track, exactly when, like if actually
So
in that period, if he actually made it farther than you, or...
we can kind of assume he got beyond the point of returning.
Right, but his
Or
camp
we
stuff
can
is still
guess.
there.
His camp stuff is still there.
What about?
So maybe we try at night.
Yes, I say we go in after him.
Okay. So kind of rest during the day, and nightfall comes, and in the night you make your way in. Are you just attempting to follow, or are you treating this as if you'll continue through and bring your stuff with you? What?
I say we pack up some of our
Yeah,
stuff to take
Bring
with
in
us
my stuff.
to be on the safe side.
Especially
going
case we
in.
Can't get back out again.
it should be inconvenient to be trapped inside the forest.
How inconvenient.
What if you're in a happy place and you just don't want to leave?
So at
Found the
night,
Great Valley.
by torch, you do make your way through. About the same point that you normally would. You do feel yourselves getting fuzzy, and you all black out. But no, you do not return through the entrance. It is now morning, and you wake up in a dungeon. No. And you find yourself waking up now. Ultimately, this would have been a day that Tilgar, you find yourself in a house.
Obviously not my house.
A house.
A house. And ultimately, Tilgar, this morning you do wake up having followed your attempt, blacking out, waking up in your bed. You wake up, and as you prepare to go about your day, you find 4 strangers in your home.
In my home.
In your home. Kind of I mean, it's a shared home in a sense. Like, it's kind of a boarding house. You don't actually have
It
your own
is
place.
now.
Okay, I was like, are we rolling for initiative?
Where are you going with
But
this?
it's weird because you have no recollection of ever having new visitors in and out.
Got into the catnip.
Yeah.
This is actually like a
What a
sitcom,
weird
and this is how we
catnap.
all became this new girl. We all moved into the
All moved in together.
loft.
Yeah.
Quit ruining my references, Cameron.
In charge.
But alas, you wake up kind of in this common living area of kind of a boarding house. You come out and find these strangers in this area, and you kind of consult if you were to consult your kind of the building owner, manager, homeowner itself, they act like they've always been there.
That is pretty interesting. So, that being said, do I feel like they've been here the whole time, or is this new to me?
Like as you're interacting with this, you feel a sense of familiarity,
Like
but
they've been with us all along.
like like you have a sense of familiarity, but there is something that is off.
Is it
And
like
this-
deja vu? Kind of.
Like when you've met someone once, but you can't remember their name.
Yeah,
You're like,
it's like there is
you.
there is something in you, possibly your connection with the Great Old One, that is allowing you to remember that no,
That something's wrong here.
right.
Okay. So I just say, hey, who are you people and how did you get here?
You
Oh,
came first.
yeah. On Shakar's end, how conscious is he that there was the outside and now he's inside?
Yeah.
Roll. Okay, so now from here, so as you guys all kind of wake up and
Plot
are in this, everyone roll wisdom saving throws for me, except for Tilgar.
20!
17.
0.
Well, 20 plus.
Oh yeah. Okay. So 17 plus
nothing's 20.
1.
Bingo.
What were we rolling?
Wisdom saving.
So
4.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh. My
Okay.
wisdom saving is 3. So I
So
get a 20. I rolled 17 plus.
okay. So Shokar and Poppy, you kind of, as you are waking up, you have a sense of familiarity. You feel like this is where you live. Your knowledge of, you don't have any memory of outside the forest. Alana and Fearden, on the other hand, you still get a sense of familiarity, that okay, you're familiar kind of with the city. You feel like you can navigate it in a sense, but there is definitely some disconnect where you're like, wait, last thing you do remember entering the forest. You don't remember where that is necessarily, but you do maintain a memory of your purpose there.
Do we have our items that we took with us from our camp?
Yes.
Okay.
And do they have my items from my camp?
I would say that if they made a conscious decision to pack up things, they would have at least packed what they thought was
We'll
important
get your
for you.
stuff for you. Don't worry. We're
Yeah,
nice
we-
people.
We're good people.
I mean, you won't even remember your stuff
Right.
now.
Yeah.
That's the whole other question of like.
Yeah.
I just picked it up.
Would
and
you
was
have
like,
remembered?
"What's this?"
Probably not, but
There
We
are
remembered
things
for
that you do remember having as if is just part of your life here. You are confused at the reason why you need like a backpack, but you have one. You're confused about the purpose for certain things. It's like, why do I have this? Like other things you have, you're like, okay, that makes sense. That's part, like, it's just my stuff.
That changes what I think Shakar would be doing. The 0 changes thing.
Yeah, ultimately, I think at this point, Shakar would be like, what do you mean? Like the confusion of like, one thing I will say is like with what is happening, you do acknowledge him, and despite you are aware of his name. You know his name, Tilgar.
So then, in that case, I would imagine Shakar would try to be like overly chummy with Tilgar, because like if I believe this is just where I'm from, and I know Tilgar, I would I think assume that we're friends, because we live in the same place together. As
Hey,
if
friend.
we're on a sitcom together, and we're now best friends. And so
You pause for audience laughter.
yes,
Yeah. Coincidentally, this has happened to me in real life with my neighbor. Yeah, worked with him like all through high school. And then he moves in right next to us like 2 years later. Can't remember his name. He remembers my name.
hey bud.
Yep, that's literally it. Hey, bud. Hey, you. How's it going, neighbor? For like, what, year and a half until we get like a Christmas gift with his name on it. We know his name now.
That's where the like 2 yearbooks I have come in handy. Anyway.
This chumminess confuses you. It feels familiar,
this feeling.
but at the same time, you are just kind of gradually disconnecting, and this knowledge of kind of something hasn't been right, but there is a familiarity there.
I don't know you.
What
How do
mean,
you know
Tilgar?
me?
We've been friends for so long.
Where did we
Oh,
meet?
it's rugby team together now.
Here.
At the sporting house.
And so then Shakar says with like a super like,
What do you mean?
why wouldn't it be here? I guess.
Pretty sure it wasn't here.
This is fairyland.
Pretty sure I don't know you.
Yeah,
I don't know any of you.
I don't
He just
think
gets
we
aggressive.
know this man,
But we're friends.
individual. I have a feeling we don't know this guy.
And Chris, do we remember each other? I mean, like obviously, like Poppy and I don't remember stuff outside of the forest, but would the four of us that were outside together remember each other?
Yes, although Shokar and Poppy do not know how you met.
Okay.
There
We're
is
just
no
friends.
memory of that, but you do have a sense of familiarity, and you know each other's names.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like I feel like I know where we are, but I feel like we were somewhere else very recently.
Yeah.
Very strange, but that's what I'm feeling right now. I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but
No, we were somewhere else.
something feels strange.
From what I remember. I think there was a
Sleeping?
forest
Did
involved.
you have a weird dream last night, you guys?
Remember trees.
We've always been here.
Trees is what I remember. And I would remember those because I'm not used to those. And they're very cool. They're very tall with green stuff on top.
Yeah, you go in the trees.
They're kind of like kelp,
Go
but
in the trees, go in the trees.
on the
You go in
brown
the
part.
trees.
They're like
You go
kelp,
out the
but
trees.
like a kelp forest, but brown,
I don't know
Kelp
what
forest.
hard brown stuff in the middle with the kelp on the top.
There's no way Shakar knows what kelp is.
Oh,
Like 0% chance.
oh, it's the best. I'm sorry you don't know what it is.
You would have an idea of what kelp is, like from like lakes, in the mountain lakes and stuff,
Oh, okay.
but not like massive amounts. You'd have an idea of like algae and
Okay.
Like water weeds.
Waterweed.
water weeds. Yeah, that's probably like in terms of Shokar's terminology, probably be more
Water
closer to
weeds.
something like that.
Oh, okay. Waterweeds.
But bigger.
Big.
But yeah, I remember these tree things. And then
During
today.
this interaction, another quake begins to happen.
Everyone get down.
While the quake itself is happening,
Do you not feel
spurts of memories begin to flood your head.
All of us?
Yes.
Okay.
like flashbacks?
Yeah.
My life's flashing for my
I
eyes.
remember you into the trees, out of the trees, into the trees, out of the trees.
Yeah. Pretty much like the more immediate memories. Shokar begins to memory like walking in and out in the frustration of walking through that entrance. Fiernan gets glimpses of drawing her maps. And Alana, in general, you begin to remember you remember your connections and your kind of bard background and your interactions specifically with Lamadaya. Poppy, you begin to remember at least your original heroic deed that was assigned to you. Kind of that feeling of imposter syndrome, since it was kind of all happenstance. And Tilgar, you get glimpses of yourself as a child being brought to the city.
Oh Lord, I knew I shouldn't have eaten any of those bar peanuts.
Mushroom.
No.
As the earthquake subsides, these images kind of they linger, but immediately become fuzzier as you try to think about them.
Did anyone else see what I just saw?
I feel like I had
My
vision.
childhood?
My childhood. Oh, I saw your childhood.
Yeah.
My life flashed
What a
before my
weird
eyes.
childhood.
It's true.
Was that an earthquake? Did y'all feel that?
We call them ground shakies.
Ground shaking. Shaky ground. That was
Are
weird.
those a normal occurrence around here?
Increasingly so. So are
So-
foul bar peanuts, apparently.
How often do these things happen, would you say?
I don't know, DM. How often do I feel this?
In the blank, please.
Lately, I mean, this one was a little larger, but in general, you've been experiencing kind of small rumblings about over the last 4 to 6 weeks, 2 to 3 times a week.
I'd say they happen 2 to 3 times a week.
Whoa, interesting.
Wow.
Huh. Maybe there's been a few more. Something to do with forests in my flashback.
Don't know what that is. Seen one once. Can't really remember it.
How
Neither
was
can
this
I.
pla- How was this place founded? Does anyone know
I've just always
the
been
history of this place?
And who leads it?
Who's in charge here? I
Who's
think
in
we need a
charge
leader.
here?
Judging by the architecture, I'd say dwarves and elves.
Well, yes, but which one of those? Who's at the top of the garbage heap?
Yeah, who's the mayor?
Who's
Well,
the mayor?
I usually sleep on top of a garbage heap, being an urchin and all.
Dilgar.
So that would be me.
Oh,
All right, what's going on here, person in charge?
I have no idea.
Spill the beans.
Tilgar, you would know the general structure of the city. I mean, you have been here, and you do have real experiences here. You would know that this is, like for the most part, the as I mentioned, population, cities and elves predominantly, or dwarves and elves, cities and elves.
Who lives
But
here? The city.
It's like little burrows here and there.
but there is a seat of power, typically held by an elf, although during transitional periods, the dwarves do maintain that seat. But for the most part, the government is primary government seats of power are held by the elves, and the dwarves are kind of the smaller seats management.
Ironically or coincidentally?
Coincidentally, like it's a system that works, that ultimately the big picture things, for the most part, are better left. The primary reason why the elves hold power is due to their lengthy lives. It is a kind of seniority-esque kind of style government, and just dwarves in general they like those smaller managerial positions, kind of making sure things go well, and accordingly. But
so is it like a monarchy, an oligarchy?
it would be a monarchy in a sense, although pretty much every there aren't clear like bloodlines, like royalty lines of royalty, or but in general, yes, the powers are held between specific families, but those families also pretty much make up the entire population of the city.
Okay, so like
the value
monarch-elect.
of it is a little lower because the families make up most of the city.
Right. It's like,
whereas like today, the Queen of England, there's like that versus the population of England is anyway. Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
All right, so I guess I relay that to everyone. I say that there's a pointy-eared person in charge that looks kind of like her. Little bit different, but kind of like her. And is it a he or a she that currently rules?
It is a she. It is a...
Okay. And yeah, just a pointy-haired woman rules over this land. Don't really know much about her, though. Being a heap sleeper.
Keep sleeping.
Let's go talk to this person, this lady in charge.
In all my years living here, I've never even seen them, so I couldn't even tell you if we could get close to them.
So these are royal elects, not royal by birth type people. Or are they royal at all?
A little bit of both, probably.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, because Chris was saying it's like you said, it's like a big family, so it's kind of
yeah,
it's like a mob.
Like, yeah, almost. It's almost more of like the matriarch.
It's like
yeah,
mob.
it's more
Which mob
it's
families
it,
in charge?
it's more so like the reason the current like the it is. So essentially, the person in the seat of power from the elven families is the oldest living elf in the city.
Okay.
So in that case, I guess we go looking around, trying to see if we can find them.
Figure out where their headquarters are.
I mean,
Where's
I can
each
tell
one?
you, the shinier, nicer the buildings are, the closer we are.
Okay.
The cleaner it is.
Yeah,
the
so we
grunge
could
starts to
start
go
there.
So,
But why do you want to see this person again?
oh,
Because we're friends. I've known them my whole life.
We want. I feel like I know. I feel like they could answer some foggy questions I have in my brain.
We also just had an earthquake. What are they gonna do about it?
Maybe we could help with the earthquake
Maybe we can help.
situation somehow.
Reinforce the buildings. Maybe they need a road system. I can map the road system.
I think they've done that already.
Okay, I could
It's a
remap it.
long-established town, so...
I could write it down on paper for them.
all right. So as you depart kind of this boarding house, you're exiting a portion of definitely more masonry, Definitely more dwarvish architecture. But just down the exit, down the road, essentially, from where you are, you do see that the architecture begins to kind of transition into these beautiful druidic kind of tree structures and buildings. And so there's like this weird, this cool kind of balance between these two competing ideas. And I guess for those who did succeed at their initial wisdom rolls, roll a history check for me.
Another 20!
14
Plus 2. 22.
plus 1, so 15.
Okay.
You know, lucky dice. I keep these.
With both of those rolls, kind of so Fiernan, you recognize some of the structures and kind of architectural elements from kind of ancient maps.
Hey, look, I know these.
That a lot of the elements may not have seen for 5,000 to 6,000 years.
These are all.
Whereas your bardic background, you've heard stories of lost cities or kind of some of the oldest civilizations of
Definitely
Enangad.
not from one of those.
Not
No, I'm
from them. But you do recognize this as
What's Atlantis backwards? No.
ancient.
Hey guys, I think this place is super old.
There's something familiar about the way this place appears.
The
Like
architecture.
I've heard of, like, I mean, I've been here, I think. It's familiar somehow, but there's a memory back here somewhere that's telling me I know about this somehow. But also it's new.
Shakar will say, "That's my favorite tree over there."
Yeah, I like that tree.
I like that tree.
But why is this place
like-
so old?
I feel like this place is somewhat
Why is Gamora?
famous, but not like.
Who is Gamora? Why is
Why
Gamora? What is Gamora?
It's like, I don't know. It reminds me of, I think, like a kid's lullaby I've heard, or a young one's.
Young ones.
A young one's like
The
lullaby.
crustaceans sing it to me.
The crustaceans. You know, and dolphins. They're a little bit better at it than the crabs.
Can I go climb a tree to get a closer look at it?
Sure. Roll
Great.
athletics.
17.
You definitely succeed in climbing a tree, no pressure.
Do I learn anything? Do I see anything cool with a higher vantage point?
With a higher vantage point, you do kind of get a general layout of the city. You do see more, looks like government buildings, or I guess more elaborate, larger structures higher up the mountain portion.
That way.
But you are also like with this kind of people throughout the city, you're getting some weird looks.
Okay, I'll climb back down the tree now.
Go up the tree, come down the tree.
The tree come down.
Up the tree, down the tree.
As you're climbing down, you black out and find yourself back at the top. Just kidding. No.
We go that way, guys. I saw some fancy buildings that look like the government would be over there.
I'm not a big fan of the government, and I'm pretty sure
Why?
they're not a big fan of me either. I'm not comfortable.
Why do you
going
say
there.
that?
I like money that belongs to other people
Maybe
sometimes.
Maybe there's some people who aren't necessarily the ones in charge, but are like, I guess what you would call like a wise person for the town, or like
I don't like wise people for the town.
like
I've been hurt before.
Like a
shaman.
seer?
like a shaman, yeah,
No.
like a shaman kind of
Shaman type.
person
Is there
for the town. That's
yeah.
not like they're not like they don't have any kind of rank or anything, but like the whole town knows who they are, and they tell stories, or they know.
So
they
like
have
an
great- they
elderly
have great
person.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
great wisdom.
An elderly person.
So like the guy that sings in the bar that I go to usually.
Shakar is all on board
Hey,
with this.
I
Who is this
wouldn't
guy?
mind. You
Well,
know,
he's
I'm
old
kind-
and he has lots of stories. Seems to
that-
know a lot.
Now that you mention it, I'm kind of hungry
Yeah.
and
Uh,
thirsty.
Kind of like similar as we're like out walking around. Is there any like rubble from the earthquake? Like, did it mess up buildings? Is
Yeah.
anyone like fixing stuff?
Is everything up to code?
Everything up to go.
Does anyone else actually acknowledge that it happened outside of our group? We should go talk to someone about it.
I don't know.
Have we
In
talked to
general,
someone?
no,
Shakar
you
just
don't see a
grabs
lot of
the
this.
literal nearest person.
To the tavern.
You don't see a lot of
That's
disturbance
how
from the earthquake. Like nothing has been really harmed. But
Okay.
Dwarven architecture. It's
It's good. But yeah,
Pretty
basically,
good.
I was saying if we want to ask someone questions, Shakar will literally grab the closest person. That's the part of our party.
Answer our questions.
What's happening?
Why are we here?
Where's Rachel?
Martha.
such a bad movie.
Such a bad.
so
So can I grab
if you
someone
are
and say,
looking,
"Oh,
yeah, in general, like around you as you exit, like there's just people there's dwarves and elves going about their business.
As though nothing happened.
Yeah, for the most part.
I mean, we can try grabbing someone.
I want to grab.
I'll
the
sit
dwarf.
back here,
They're like
and
the
you
dwarf
can grab the
lady.
first one you see.
Like another earthquake.
Okay, I want to grab a dwarf.
Okay.
Shakar, go.
Toss me. Toss me. Don't tell the others.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, so and like my thinking there is like 2 out of the 3 of us would be, or 2 out of the 3 of us, 2 out of the 5 of us would be like a dragonborn and a minotaur. We're like bigger things, and so compared to a dwarf, like we got a little bit of verticality there.
Size.
So,
I don't know. I'm very intimidating with my loot. And
with my loot.
and my cute little face.
Okay, so you grab a dwarf.
And then I'll say, "My friends have questions for you," and I'll just like hold. it.
You turn around and hold him. Roll an
Shakar has
intimidation
no clue
check.
What's going on? But
With it-
like, it's like we needed information, and I just grabbed a dwarf.
In general, roll an intimidation check for me.
We're gonna use Big Bertha
I think you have advantage too, don't you?
How do I have more intimidation than you?
because you have a higher charisma than me.
Oh,
Or you're just proficient
people
in
like me more.
I'm proficient in it.
Okay.
12.
12? Like, in general, he's more confused.
I'll take it.
And definitely, like, the sight of you, like, in general, like, he's like, oh, okay. And you kind of, you're, like, holding him off the ground, and you turn him around toward everyone.
I'm sorry, sir. He's not very intelligent.
Have you know, I have a -1 to intelligence.
He's not very intelligent.
do the people of the town, like, is this like a small town where everyone knows everyone's name kind of thing, and they like know us or have familiarity with us? Or is it just
Like,
in the place where we popped in?
right now, since you are just outside the residence, people feel like they may have some familiarity. It is a larger city in general. Probably about 120,000. And but as you come to interact with him, like initially on site, there was some confusion about like familiarity, but gradually they seem more comfortable around you.
So I'm just holding this dwarf.
Yep.
I will give you 2 copper pieces if you can throw that dwarf over the tree that she climbed.
But first we gotta figure out what's
Yeah.
going on before he chucks it away.
So like
Is there someone?
Tilgar
excuse
says
me.
that, and Shakar like looks at the tree, and like you can definitely see like the gear turning in his head to one gear, as it's like.
Hold on a minute there, friend. Not
And-
quite yet.
And I'm like, no.
I won't stop you,
Wait.
but
It's like, sorry to bother you, sir, but is there anyone here who we could talk to who maybe knows the history of this city?
He responds. He's like, "What history? It is and has always been."
But it had to have started from some time.
who
Who
built
was the
this
first
place?
person here?
Who built it?
That
Like, there is like loud guy. No.
there is serious confusion now that he's thinking about this question.
His brain starts hurting. Like,
Who
who's the
founded
most-
your town?
Yeah.
And like
Who's the town weirdo? We should talk to them.
the town mayor.
I mean Tilgar.
Apart
Obviously.
from him.
Ultimately, he begins. He's like, "No, it is and has always been. It is all that is."
Well, I'm out of questions.
Okay, throw the door.
So your city has never started and never ended. It's just always existed.
And he kind of begins. Headache begins, and he kind of passes out and becomes unresponsive.
Oh no,
Ugh,
we killed him.
that's a problem.
I feel less bad about throwing him now.
Can I
My feelings haven't changed.
do I have any I have an herbalism kit. Can I pull out some like smelling salt things to pull him out of it?
Sure, probably something like mint.
Okay, well, yeah.
In general,
Whatever
like,
the herbalism equivalent of that is.
in general, like he comes back to, and
You just stared at him.
and yeah, he comes back to a group of non-elf and dwarf. Well, kind of. There's Poppy at least.
A weird combination of people.
But he's like, "Oh, weird place to wake up." He's like, "Oh, thank you for assisting me," and he kind of starts getting back up with no memory of the previous encounter.
Oh, I'm 100% holding him the whole time.
Okay. So
His feet are
he's
like-
Let me down, sir.
now the confusion begins to set in again.
Does Poppy have any questions, or I think we've all questioned him.
What's
Yeah.
going to happen tomorrow? What's on your schedule for tomorrow?
Oh, so this seems like it's a weird way to wake up, but he's like, I was just gonna, go to work
What's his
and have
name?
dinner with my family.
What's your name, good sir?
Oh my goodness, guys.
Or ma'am. Chris was not prepared for
Do
this.
not expect him to name every creature.
No, I
Just the
know.
ones we grab randomly. off
Just
the
the ones you
screen.
grab.
Yeah.
George.
It's DM Nightmare. What location is
This
this?
is the hard part. Of course, I had the website.
What's your name?
Show us on the map.
Who are your kids? I'm interested in that.
What's your wife and children's name?
My name's
What?
Dolgrul.
Give us your whole family
Dolgrul.
tree.
I mean, what do you do for a living, no girl?
You just make up a backstory.
I'm a city planner and architect.
So you did build it.
So you do know who built the city.
I know the buildings I've established as we've begun to grow, but
But when did the city start?
What
when
was
did
the
you
first building?
What was the first building and who built it?
and so I don't know. And his head begins to throb again.
Oh no, okay, stop. He's giving
But
that's not good.
But he kind of fights back this time. He's like, I would have to look at the city records as far.
So there are records.
So there are records.
He's like, well, yeah, we have architecture designs dating back. And like his confusion begins to set in. He's like, because now that he's thinking about time in the sense of establishment to current or like as records or anything. He's confused and he's attempting to break away from your grasp, Cameron. So roll a strength check.
Okay. 17.
Okay, you continue to hold him, and he is failing now. And he's not very cooperative, but
Maybe we should let him go.
Are we done asking questions? What's his name?
Dolgrul.
Okay.
Or where can we find these records or look at these records? Or are we allowed to do that? Nice man.
Well, the records are located in the government libraries.
Guys, they're that way.
You saw those earlier.
I saw them earlier. I know where they are.
Thank you. That's very helpful. You're very nice. I'm sorry we're hurting you.
Okay, I think we could let him go now.
Okay, so I shouldn't throw him over the tree?
Yeah, set him
I
down
think you should
gently.
throw him over the tree.
Okay.
No,
No,
throw
gently.
friends over
Well, let's
trees.
not.
Okay. We voted, and not throwing him over the tree won the vote. So, Shakar will set him down, pat him on the head, and say, "Thank you for one."
And scooch him along his way.
Yeah.
To be
Scooch
fair, I
along.
didn't have 2 copper anyways.
So,
There you go.
But I can
where's your
get
sense
it.
of honor?
So
He
with
doesn't have money. He can't have
with the
money.
direction of Dolgrul and the obvious confusion that ensued, you have learned about, obviously, through seeing and that the seat of power that there are records and information, but there seems to be a disconnect regarding the passing of time and a collective knowledge in general amongst the population.
Hmm.
So
now
how do
what?
I get you guys to stop bugging me? Do we go to this thing?
Oh, we're
You
not
were
leaving you
friends.
alone anytime
We've
soon.
been friends for literally our whole lives.
You're
Why
coming
don't
with
you
us
like
whether
me
you like it or
anymore?
not.
Sounds like a threat. Just want to go to Flintfoot's, Flapjacks, and Funnel Cakes. That
Oh
was
my
my
God.
plan for today.
What's a funnel cake?
It's a cake
What's a flapjack?
in a funnel.
In a funnel.
What's a funnel? That sounds so cool. We should do that.
It's like a cup.
I thought we were gonna go check out this random library that's over that way, guys.
Can we bring the funnel cake to the library?
Do they let food and drink into the library?
I mean, I can probably snag 1, maybe 2, but I don't think I have the ability to steal enough for everyone.
we have money? Can we buy funnel cakes?
Yeah, do we establish?
Do we like?
I don't know.
I
Do you have
love
money?
this
It's like a
disconnect.
This is
legitimate
actually
question.
very interesting to me.
I
Do
love
we
this
have money?
disconnect of it's like pay what? Tilgar's like
Good question.
it's like the obvious
on,
idea
man,
was
we're
I just wanted to steal some
law-abiding
funnel cakes.
citizens.
You're
So
like,
you have money.
I think I have enough to cover it.
How much money do you have?
I don't know.
Why do you want to know?
One DM's whatever one amount.
I mean, I make.
We've been
I
friends
make some
forever.
change.
You said it yourself.
Well, no, I've
Why
been
wouldn't we
friends with you
talk about
forever.
finances
said
together?
that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have this little bag that's got shiny things in it that I think are usually used for exchange of things.
And there's a button in there.
I was gonna say seashells and a button.
No, I think that they're land shinies.
Land shinies.
Like this rock?
The funnel cake.
I just want to go see what it is, cause I'm so curious.
I'm so curious.
We've made up a funnel cake shop.
It's canon.
It's canon.
It's canon now.
Get prepared, Chris.
I've lived here my whole life. It's
Better
canon.
make up a.
pretty much I'll allow it. I ain't overruling that.
Okay, so we walk in. Can we have some funnel cakes, please? To the guy at the funnel cake stand.
Okay,
While
so
they're asking the shopkeep for funnel cakes, I'm gonna be close to the display, seeing if I can steal one.
all
Just,
right.
like bring out a wad of cash. Like, is this enough?
So you make your way to a street vendor, kind of the market area, and there's some street vendors and things like that. And ultimately, there's a funnel cake stand. Smell of sugar and dough fills the air, and it smells delicious.
I really want one in real life now.
Roll.
Smells like funnels.
Tilgar, roll me a sleight of hand check.
It's gonna be 14.
That succeeds. But for the most part, people are passing here and there. You guys approach the stand. Tilgar kind of holds off to the back and just waits until you guys are interacting with the owner. What did you name this owner?
That's Flintfoot.
Flintfoot. Definitely a dwarf.
Flintfoot's flapjacks and funnel cakes.
Okay.
Get some funnel cakes.
Yeah. Add that to the t-shirt list.
Flintfoot.
Emma?
What was it?
Flintfoot's flapjacks and funnel cakes.
Oh yeah, and so is he like sneaking funnel cakes while I'm distracting the guy with a wad of cash? Or just a part of my
I mean,
satchel
you
of shiny coins?
Oh, I brought this from home.
This is my home funnel cake.
so it's the cost of a funnel cake is going to be 3 copper pieces a cake or a serving.
I hold up a silver. Is this enough for all of us to have one?
I'd say that's just enough.
He'll take roll a persuasion check.
Okay. I gotta go back. Where is that? Oh, it's down here. Oh, okay.
Just because your math
7.
is off. A 7?
7 total, yeah.
He'll look at you confused and he's like, "No, for 5 of you that will be 15 copper pieces or 1 silver and 5 copper pieces."
So are we stealing some or am I
like
Okay.
I don't think
What is
Tilgar
up?
is
We need to have a
communicating this to
plan.
you. So unless he communicates to you that he's already swiped to,
I brought this from home.
yeah.
Okay. So
He kind of
I-
he
so I
swipes the
pull
two and
out-
kind of starts walking away from the stand and just eating,
so I
and
have
the
the
four of you
silver
are
and
still
I-
at the thing.
And I notice him doing that, and I pull out another silver. I was like, okay, how about I'll give you 2 silvers for 5. You can keep
Now
the
he's really
change.
confused, and he's like, "Sure."
Keep the change.
I just give a thumbs up to the owner.
All right, so you guys all receive or so Tilgar has a 2 that he stole, and
Brought from home.
brought
Let's get it straight. I brought these from
he
home.
brought from home,
Gotta
and,
eat to live, gotta steal to eat. Tell you what, I got the time.
and then the owner
And
does continue to distribute 1 to each of you, assuming that's how you wish for them to be distributed.
And I just as a back thing, my race is we like rules and things, so I'm like I cannot allow this ship to not be paid for the thing, so that's why I'm like keep the change.
Okay, so roll before you agree.
Like, please.
Roll a perception check to see if you notice Tilgar swipe
Oh,
these.
okay. 8.
And your passive isn't high enough to beat his 14, I'm assuming.
No, so,
That it's 8 with the.
And then what's your passive?
so passive. is
Just in
here.
case.
Oh. I have 11 pass.
Yeah. So you wouldn't have actually noticed.
Okay, so I just give him the silver with the 5 then.
'Kay.
The 5 copper.
Okay, so you pay for 5. He distributes 5.
I'll hold Tilgar since he's not like right here as he's walking away.
What
No.
can I? It's never mind.
Never mind. Okay.
Train
we
of
go
thought
to
that
the
didn't make any
library.
sense.
And I'm like sitting here eating. I'm like, this is amazing.
Never seriously had one of these before.
Food.
No, I love it.
You should try the
We'll come back
flapjacks
every
next.
day.
See, here's the thing. As much as I love my trees, sometimes you gotta take a flapjack and put some tree sap on it.
Well,
And
it's
it's
hard to.
even better.
I mean, I've lived here, I think, all my life, but I'm pretty sure, like, and my ancestors never had fried things because you can't really fry things underwater.
It would be
I
difficult.
mean, you probably would have experienced like some fried foods in your interactions in the harbor cities and stuff,
Yeah,
here
but
and
not
there.
this one.
But in general, no.
Not a flapjack and funnel cake.
It's so good, and I get really hyper. I'm like, "Hi, this is amazing!"
Flint foots. Flint foots.
Quick.
So you have your funnel cakes. There is still obviously some confusion as you are departing. Another earthquake begins to happen.
2 in a day.
Two in a
I
day.
struggled to hold on to my funnel cakes.
Yeah, that was that's the real question. Is like, are the funnel cakes okay?
Don't want any of the
Powdered
icing
sugar.
sugar to come off them.
Yeah.
How many people around us acknowledge the earthquake? The grand shakies.
The ground chicken.
Like, is anyone else? Kind
Can
of,
I
like,
take
looking
note
around?
of the people who are not us?
Okay. Roll a
That-
perception check.
15. 15.
15
Plus 3.
plus 3.
18.
18. Okay. So yeah. Yes. So you'll immediately, based on like you begin to take note of the people around you in the market square. During this, just kind of keeping in the back of your mind to just kind of observe afterwards, which I'll explain. But ultimately, again, you guys begin to experience flashes. This time, Tilgar, what flashes through your mind, Tilgar, are all of your attempts to leave the city.
Okay, that's horrifying.
And you're like,
The trees are the trees. And the trees.
and kind of the confusion kind of sets in and then the shaking stops, and immediately you are brought back to your funnel cakes.
Are the cakes okay?
This gloriousness.
Is everyone else okay?
No,
with
obviously.
your perception roll, Fiorin, everyone kind of acts like so. During which people did act startled, like something was happening, but immediately, pretty much after, everyone just continues about their business.
As though nothing happened.
Correct.
Hey guys. No one else is acknowledging that it happened.
What happened?
The ground shakies. I
I
mean,
mean, that sounds like a them problem.
And you
But
all
I clearly now have more problems because those peanuts that I had at that bar have not been leaving me alone. I just had the craziest daydream.
think the
craziest
funnel
thing.
cakes are the problem.
Funnel cakes are the solution.
Funnel cakes are never the problem.
I keep remembering myself walking into a forest and then waking
I
up.
walked into a forest and woke up. This is why we've been friends our whole life.
I have that memory as well.
Yeah.
What memory?
Something about walking into a forest?
I don't remember anything like
It
that.
was oddly empty of animals.
I'm confused. But at least
And
we
the
have funnel
strange
cakes.
mobile device that I have keeps sending me spam calls. I don't know where it came from or what it's doing in my pocket.
What's a call?
But
I know
I think
what a called girl
some-
is.
some I think some
The Gar's backstory
thief is
escalating.
trying to steal my money, claiming to be from my hometown. Anyway.
one thing to also
Something about
include.
a warranty.
And a car, whatever that is.
Anyway,
With your perception check, while you were observing people, you've noticed a few people around the square who, during the earthquake, seemed to be observing the group.
They think we're being watched.
But at the same time, you're a Triton, a Minotaur, a Dragonborn, a Tabaxi, and a half elf.
I mean,
Guys,
I've
I
been getting
think
looks
we're
like this
being
my entire
watched.
life.
Have I mentioned the hole in my map recently?
Well, why'd you
Why
rip
do
a
you
hole
have
in your
that?
map?
I don't know. But anyway, I think we're being watched by these strange people who really fit in more than we do.
Do they like funnel cakes too? Should
Maybe
we go
they want to be friends.
Yeah.
And maybe we should go talk to one.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's one over there, that tall, lanky-looking elf.
But what if they're the authorities?
Then we've been looking for the authorities.
We have?
It's like, what am I doing with these people?
I did not agree with that.
No authorities, no authorities.
Is that funnel cake for me?
Well, I got it for you, but you already have two, so I'll just eat this one also.
You guys are best friends.
Probably just as good as the one I got at home, anyways.
Let's go chat with these people that are scoping things out.
That are watching
Supposedly
us.
staring at us.
I'm definitely going to stay to the back of the group.
Just fine.
Yeah. Conveniently, you can hide behind the Minotaur and the Dragonborn.
Conveniently.
So the group begins to approach these people?
Yes.
I kind of feel like this is a situation where we ask people questions and heads just explode because it's like, I don't know.
As you begin to make your approach, you see them turn and begin to walk away.
Oh, we walk faster.
Absolutely.
Don't scare them.
Why are you watching us?
They they turn a corner.
Guys, do you really think we should follow these people if they're watching us? I mean,
50
I
bucks
did
says we turn the
recommend
corner
that.
and they're not there.
Yeah.
We follow
you
them
continue.
around the corner?
you still see them.
Sure.
Oh, thank God. I lost $50.
And now they have turned. They're standing at the end of this other street, this kind of sub street, and they've turned and are just standing there.
Casually, or like, did they
Is it like a dead
acknowledge
end?
that we're following them?
I mean, they're looking right at you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, friends.
This is
Wait.
creepy.
Wait up.
How crowded is this area? Can I do it? We were just in a marketplace that was pretty crowded.
The marketplace is still crowded. This is kind of a substreet, kind of an alleyway. It does go all the way through though.
So there's
still
not
open,
as many
but
bystanders.
there are virtually none on this
Okay.
little street. It's kind of like a private little lane, mostly used just for building access.
This may be a trap.
It's a back alley.
I
They
play
trap us,
dice as
they're
a
our
place like
friends.
this. Yeah.
This doesn't seem like a good idea, but I want answers.
Okay, we keep approaching.
You begin to approach and down the alley. Since he's aware of you, he begins to approach you as well. Everyone roll dexterity checks.
Uh-oh.
Whatever this is happening, can I see it about to happen? Because I have advantage if I do.
I rolled a 2.
Yeah,
I
sure.
rolled a 5.
Do I use this number or that number?
The top one.
So I have a 4.
Rolled in
Did you say check or saving throw?
Saving throw. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
6.
18.
I have a 6.
9.
What was yours, Cameron?
20.
20. So as you guys walk down this road, empty, a group lunges from one of the buildings, successively grabbing and pulling Alana, Poppy, and Fiernan. They get their hands on
Not my funnel cake.
Don't touch me.
on
Sensitive skin.
Shokar and Tilgar, but they kind of slip out as the three are kind of pulled into the building.
Help!
Ah,
My
you
funnel
made
cake.
me drop my funnel cake.
I
thought we were
casually pick
friends.
up all the dropped funnel cakes.
And then Shakar will stuff whatever is left of his funnel cakes in his mouth, and he grabs his maul off his back, and he's ready to like charge in after his friends.
Okay.
I stand there and watch.
You stand there. And
So I helped.
so your comment ready. No one's actually initiating any damage, so I'm not having you guys go into combat here. Ultimately, you kind of, as you're standing and watching, you see the person at the end of the alley still approaching, finger to lips, and then turns and walks into the building that your friends were just, or your companions, I guess, not friends yet, were just pulled into.
We're friends.
We're friends.
Shakar will say, "Let them go," and we'll run in. Like,
I'm not going in there.
He's not going in there. Okay, so Shokar runs in.
I just peek in through the doorway.
You'll notice that as you run in, yes, there's a group of people. They have now kind of released their grips on the three. And the one you were following as it enters, You're still just outside the door. You kind of see them. It's not dark or dingy. It's still pretty light. There's plenty of light coming from the front end of the building still. But the elf you are following mentions you recall the earthquakes.
Yeah. Unlike everyone else, which I seem to have picked up on.
The people who grabbed us are talking to us.
Yes. Talking
Okay.
to everyone in the room, kind of. Tilgar's still outside, just kind of eavesdropping and just seeing what's
Okay.
going on.
Seems a little odd, don't you?
And
This place is
Shokar's in there with his maul out.
Yeah,
like,
I'm ready to like.
Just-
Okay.
Also, I want my funnel cake back.
I mean, I'm outside the door and I am eating everyone's funnel cake. I have an elaborate story if they ask where they're from or where they went.
You brought them from home?
No, I did not bring these from home.
So they asked us about the earthquakes. Like, you noticed the earthquakes?
Yes. They're kind of hard to miss.
Some other people don't seem to mind them.
I'm pretty used to them, so I'm just gonna keep quiet.
Yeah. So he chimes in. Yes, but no one around me seems to recall earthquakes. Any of the earthquakes.
Very.
Who are you anyway?
Why did you like?
And
assault
why
And
did-
why
yeah,
did you
why did you
kidnap
grab
us?
That was very rude. You could have just asked.
Yeah.
I do apologize. There's just been a lot of confusion. Obviously,
relate.
if you haven't noticed, you guys stand out. Although no one else seems to mind, but I don't recall other races living within the city.
Doesn't answer
Except
the
for that
question of
one
who
cat
you
guy.
are.
Except for that one cat guy who's.
Except for the one cat guy, yeah.
He says,
Peek
"Yes,
around the
and-
corner, hearing them mention my being.
yes, and we've been watching him too."
And who exactly is we?
Like a
We know where
startled
his
look
trash
goes
can
over
is.
my face.
There's like in general, like you weren't really aware, but it's like those of us who seem to have memories outside the city and don't and have memory of these earthquakes.
And do you all
As
just,
for my
like-
name, I am Silvar.
If you what do you remember if you say you remember things outside the city?
I remember running from a pack of wolves late one night and running into a forest.
We seem to keep mentioning something about remembering a forest
Into the trees.
Yeah,
as well.
it's
That's
very
very-
familiar.
Coincidental.
Very.
I like forests.
So do I. It's where all my animal friends live.
But
So you say you were chased into a forest by a pack of wolves.
yes, I don't remember much about anything before that, other than most of my memories are still of this city out of familiarity. But whenever the earthquakes occur, I have flashes of memory.
Do
We
you
have flashes of
remember if
Tilgar's
they?
childhood as well.
Yeah. Do you remember if these wolves followed you? Not that it's important, but
No, I literally, like, my memory only extends into moving beyond the threshold of the forest, and even then that memory tends to fade until the next earthquake.
You know what is causing the ground shakies?
It's like, no, I don't. No, I'd assume seismic activity, but like with it,
What?
with
What's a seismic?
what information do you have about these occurrences?
only that there are few of us that remember them.
Well, we were trying to
Myself
ask...
and
Oh.
my 5 friends here.
We started asking a random dwarf about the history of this city, and he mentioned something about architectural records that we were going to maybe go read and see if we could learn anything until we were so rudely grabbed.
You were following me.
Well, this is true, but we didn't
We
grab
saw
you.
you because you were staring at us.
You were watching us during
I was
those
observing.
last
We could
In
tell
a
you
public
wanted
area.
to be
Yeah.
friends.
It's still pretty suspicious in comparison to the behavior of everyone else.
At this point, I've finished the funnel cakes and slinked in behind everyone.
You got some powdered sugar all in your fur here and there.
Yeah.
And like on your paw. But I mean, unfortunately, we don't have access to the government buildings necessarily, although it is possible.
How?
We can smash our way in.
Hulk smash.
How do most, like, who has access to this library?
I slowly raise my hand and I'm like, I can get into most buildings.
Yeah, it's like, well, for the most part, like, options are, it's like we can possibly see about, or at least for those of us in the city, we can submit for a job transfer. But those can take a few weeks for processing and interviews and everything. That would guarantee us
Red tape,
access.
all that stuff.
Otherwise, I am not entirely sure. Could be. And he kind of looks around and he's like, maybe this isn't. Granted, this is semi-secure. This is still just. It's still too public. Maybe we should discuss this somewhere else. I'm still confused about what is causing my memory loss. If would you guys follow me to one of our homes?
Okay.
Can trust this guy. This seems sketchy. How do we know we can trust him?
Seems like we might not have a better call right now. If we can't get into the library. Other than Tilgar.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys got into my house, no problem.
Well, it's not your house.
That wasn't exactly intentional.
Do you have a house?
It's our house in
Yeah.
the middle
It's
of the
our
street.
house.
Our house. It's like, if not, we can plan another meeting somewhere just a little more secure. I can meet you at your place.
Probably not secure.
Probably not secure.
The boarding
kind
house.
of a boarding house.
Number 4 behind by dumpster number. Just kidding.
23 Privet Drive.
221B trash pile.
Hey, my place is a bit of a dump.
That's fair.
Oh, I thought a trash pile was a dwelling. Sorry, I didn't realize I was insulting you. I don't know what a trash pile is.
My place.
Oh. What is trash?
I've stayed in much nicer places.
Literally in the boarding house, he lives in a tiny room in the back where trash is often stored.
Right under the stairs.
It's like a little back cellar room.
Gotcha.
Basically. I mean, I see no other option than to follow the creepy guy.
Yeah, follow the
Into
creepy
the
guy
creepy
to the
place.
and-
I mean, I was told curiosity killed the cat and never to
No.
go with strangers, but
This seems
He's
exactly
big,
that
so-
scenario.
yeah, I point to Shakar. I'm like, yeah, he's big. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
could
for
go
the most
wrong?
part, like the group that grabbed you guys, and like obviously 2 of you pretty well evaded, consists of what did I say his name was? Silva? Silva? Silvar.
Something.
Silvar, yeah.
I got it.
Silvar, 3 dwarves and one other elf. He says, "Okay," and then it's like, "Well, let's do this." So instead, he says, "Meet me there this evening." There are other things, and he warns you before taking off. Meet me there this evening, around. He just says at sundown. At sundown, and he warns you to avoid interacting with the other citizens as much as possible. We have noticed that the more we interact with others, the harder it is to remember.
Fascinating.
Bum, bum, bum.
But with that, now that the group is together, although some don't remember why they're there, we'll go ahead here and call it, and plan for your meeting with Silvar and company next month, and see if we can progress and be ready for some possible combat.
Fighting!
Woo!
Smashing stuff.
Woo!
Uh,
It's been fun.